Most people want the relationship with the abusive person in their life to work. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I specialize in helping people who have experienced abuse as well as perpetrators of abuse and have done so for many years. One of the things that I've noticed about my work, and people work with people who have experienced abuse and have been in abusive relationships, no matter what kind of relationship, no matter who the relationship is with, rather, is that they want the relationship to work. And especially if you have a history of being in abusive relationships, historically what you would do is go into survival mode. And part of surviving in a relationship with an abuser is being emotionally numb, right? And that's part of experiencing PTSD. Your mind and body will preserve themselves and go into survival mode, because a lot of people, even if they have the opportunity to leave or to walk away, they prefer to stay in a relationship, try to work on the relationship, try to work on the abusive person to help that person heal. And I'll give you an example. For many years, I've had my practice, and I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've had a wife call and say, my husband, I'm experiencing anxiety and depression. Yes, there is abuse in my relationship, but I want to know how to fix my husband. What can I do to fix my partner? How can I get my partner to come to therapy so that we can get this to stop? So there are, I can't tell you how many calls I get, just, with that same sort of general synopsis, like, I want to fix my partner. I want this relationship to work. My partner is telling me that I do this or I do that. And so I kind of want to fix those things, but I can't get my partner to come, or they feel like I'm the problem. So you tell me what I need to do in order to fix this situation and to fix my partner, so that we can make it work, because I'm invested in making this relationship work despite whatever behavior is going on. And so that happens a lot, and particularly in romantic relationships. It happens in work, so supervisor worker relationships, and it happens quite a bit in parent-child relationships. So I've had adult children call as well. And again, they want to work on their relationship with their parent. Very similar to how the call goes with like a spouse, an abusive spouse or an abusive partner. They want things to work with their parent. And I would say even more, I feel like adult children of abusive parents are even more invested in my years of experience, because they don't necessarily see themselves walking away from their relationships with their parents. And so what adult children will do is they overcompensate in order to stay in a relationship with an abusive parent. What does overcompensation look like? Overcompensation looks like taking on the blame, this unlimited amount of obedience, that feeling of I have to be obedient to my parent, because they've been programmed and told over and over again that they are the child and that their parent is the parent. And so they are very obedient to listening to their parent. So they allow their parent to cross boundaries, even when they have the power to say no. Because I work with people over the years of empowering them to learn how to say no and to stand up for themselves. And sometimes what tends to happen is they will forego saying no just to have some semblance of a relationship with their abusive parent. Children want to be accepted and loved by their parents. There's not a child, even children that are that have gone no contact, they went no contact after probably years worth of abuse, and they hung in there for as long as they could until they really couldn't do it anymore. Very seldom, if ever, have I met someone who's gone no contact with their parents as a first line of defense, who was being abused by their parents. And so many children, adult children, take years worth of abuse, endure years worth of abuse. They don't take it voluntarily, but they endure that. And a lot of times when you endure years worth of abuse, you internalize yourself being the problem, or yourself maybe being unlovable or doing something wrong, until you go to therapy and you learn all of the skills and things of that nature. Many children who've been abused grow up thinking that they were bad, they were the problem, and that they have to do endless a number of things to gain love and acceptance from their parents, even though their parents continue moving the goalposts. Their child will never be good enough. There's nothing that's ever good enough. I'm your parent and I had you and I gave up so much, so much so. And so children actually feel guilty for wanting to stand up for themselves. They feel guilty. So a lot of times they're often ostracized by their community, who extended family members or friends or neighbors or other people, church community members may say, well, that's your mama, that's your daddy, you only get one of them. So you also have external pressures telling you that you need to kind of suck it up and endure the abuse because that's your parent and you only get one. And so a lot of times adult children are stuck in that cycle, but abuse victims always want to try to work it out, even after enduring abuse for so long. So that's one coping mechanism of survival.